The Agony of Eros, by Byung Chul. Eros and depression are opposites. Eros pulls the subject out of itself, toward the other. Depression, in contrast, plunges the subject into itself. The world appears only as adumbrations of the narcissist's self, which is incapable of recognizing the other in his or her otherness, much less acknowledging this otherness for what it is. Meaning can exist for the narcissistic self only when it somehow catches sight of itself. It wallows in its own shadow everywhere until it drowns in itself. Every religion operates with both debt, guilt, and relief, pardon. But capitalism only works with debt and default. It offers no possibility for atonement, which would free the debtor from liability. The impossibility of mitigation and atonement also accounts for the achievement subject's depression. The neoliberal regime conceals its compulsive structure behind the seeming freedom of the single individual, who no longer understands him or her as a subjugated subject, but as a project in the process of realizing itself. That is its ruse. Now, whoever fails is at fault and personally bears the guilt. No one else can be made responsible for failure. Nor is there any possibility for pardon, relief, or atonement. In this way, not only a crisis of debt occurs, a crisis of gratification does, as well. Today, love is being positivized into sexuality, and, by the same token, subjected to a commandment to perform. Sex means achievement and performance. And sexiness represents capital to be increased. The body, which its display value, has become a commodity. By means of social media, we seek to bring the other as near as possible, to close any distance between ourselves and him or her, to create proximity. But this does not mean that we have more of the other. Instead, we are making the other disappear. Today, love is being positivized into formula for enjoyment. Above all, love is supposed to generate pleasant feelings. It no longer represents plot, narration, or drama, only inconsequential emotion and arousal. It is free from negativity of injury, assault, or crashing. Technological data storage strips all life from what has been. It is without time. Thus, a total present prevails today. It is abolishing the irretrievable moment. Time without moments is merely additive and no longer situative. As the temporality of the click, it lacks decision and resolve. The blink of an eye is yielding to pointing and clicking. The desire for the other is giving way to the comfort of the same. The aim is to procure the comfortable and, ultimately, dull immanence of the wholly identical. Modern love lacks all transcendence and transgression. Eros as excess and transgression denies both work and bare life. Thus the slave, who holds fast to life and labors, proves incapable of erotic experience, of erotic desire. Depression characterizes our age. Thanks to excessive openness and unlimitedness, the capacity to close and conclude has disappeared. The ability to die is vanishing too, because no one can conclude his or her life. The achievement subject has no capacity for bringing things to an end, for concluding, even provisionally. The subject breaks down under the compulsion to perform and produce accomplishments over and over. In society where everyone is an entrepreneur of the self, the economy of survival reigns. It stands diametrically opposed to the non-economy of Eros and death. Neoliberalism, with its uninhibited ego, and achievement impulses, constitutes a social order from which Eros has vanished entirely. The society of positivity, from which negativity has disappeared, is a society of bare life, which is dominated exclusively by the concern to make sure of survival, in face of discontinuity. Vitality differs from the vigor of fitness of bare life, which lacks all negativity. A survivor is like the undead, too dead to live, and too alive to die.